Welcome back. In the last video, we used the law of cosines to find a missing side, and in this one, we're going to discover what else it can do. Up to now, we used the law of cosines for only one thing, to find a missing side when we knew two sides and their included angle. But what if we don't know any of the angles? To find out, we're going to see what happens if we use some algebra to rewrite the formula with the goal of getting cosine of A by itself. We can start by subtracting b squared and c squared from both sides. Then we can divide both sides by negative 2bc. Finally, we can cancel and simplify the negatives to get a new version of the original formula. Cosine of angle A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared, all divided by 2bc. So when would this formula be useful? Well, we can use this version to find any missing angle when all three sides of a triangle are known. Before we jump into an example, though, there's one thing about this formula I want to point out. Take a look at the numerator. You've got three terms, and the order in which you handle them does matter. If I'm looking for angle A, and I begin substituting values into the formula, it won't really matter which side is B and which one is C. The result of evaluating will be the same even if we mix these two up. But we do have to be sure that the angle we're finding is always associated with the side being subtracted in the numerator. If we want angle A, we must subtract side A squared. And finally, the formula can be rewritten depending on which angle we're looking for. Before I show you, based on the pattern we just talked about, how do you think the formula would look if we wanted to find angle B instead? Take a second and write it down. Here are all three versions. Check your work and copy these into your guided notes. All right, before we try it out with example 1, make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Okay, ready? Here we go. In triangle ABC, side A equals 7, side B equals 10, and side C equals 13. We need to find all three angle measures. So, which angle do you think we should start with? Here's a hint. When all three sides are known, it's usually best to start with the largest angle. How do we know which angle is the largest? Well, it has to be opposite from the longest side, so that would be angle C. The reason for this is that in a triangle, only one angle can ever be obtuse. Depending on your triangle, the largest angle may or may not be obtuse, but finding the largest angle first will guarantee that the other two angles are acute. So let's grab the law of cosines formula that'll help us find the measure of angle C. Cosine of C equals a squared plus b squared minus c squared, all over 2ab. Before we start substituting values, what was the one thing we needed to be cautious about? Right, we need to be sure that the side we're subtracting, c squared, is the side that's opposite from the angle we're trying to find, angle C. So, let's start substituting. Cosine of C equals 7 squared plus 10 squared minus 13 squared, all over 2 times 7 times 10. I used my calculator to get cosine of C equals negative 20 over 140. Notice that cosine is negative here. What does that tell us? What type of angle should we be expecting? Right, if cosine is negative, this must be a quadrant 2 angle, so angle C is obtuse, and we should be expecting to get an angle measure that's greater than 90. Simplifying, cosine of C equals negative 1/7. Using the calculator to input, cosine inverse of negative 1/7 is about 98.21 degrees, which is obtuse and exactly what we were expecting. Okay, now it's your turn. Same triangle, but now you'll use the law of cosines to find the measure of angle A. Use the formulas in your guided notes to determine which version to use. How'd you do? I used this version of the law of cosines since I'm looking for angle A. I'll need to be sure that the side I'm subtracting is the side opposite from angle A, which is 7 centimeters long. I substituted values and got cosine of A equals 10 squared plus 13 squared minus the side across from angle A, 7 squared, all over 2 times 10 times 13. From there, I used my calculator and the inverse cosine function to find an angle measure of about 32.20 degrees. Before we move on, remember how we talked about being really careful with your calculator? Here's a situation where it definitely matters. It is possible with many calculators to find this answer all in one step. You need to type in cosine inverse and then the entire rest of the expression, carefully grouped. Here's what it looks like with my calculator. I started with cosine inverse. Then I had to ensure that my entire numerator was enclosed in parentheses. My entire denominator was also enclosed in parentheses. And the entire expression was also enclosed in an outer set of parentheses. And that gives us the same answer, or 32.20 degrees. Here's our final problem for the video. Find the last angle, the measure of angle B. You are certainly welcome to use the law of cosines, but you might come up with a different method instead. Give it a shot. Here's what I did. I used the triangle sum theorem and subtracted each of our known angles from 180. That gave me an angle measure for B of 49.59 degrees. If you wanted to check your work using law of cosines, or just did it that way from the beginning, you would have used cosine inverse of 7 squared plus 13 squared minus 10 squared, which is the side opposite from angle B, all divided by 2 times 7 times 13, which gives an angle measure of 49.58. Why are these two values different from each other? Actually, these are essentially the same answer. The tiny difference is just from the rounding we had to do. If your answer is within a few hundredths of a degree, you're in great shape. Today, we learned how to use the law of cosines in both directions. The law of cosines can be used to find a missing side when two sides and their included angle are known. It can also be used to find missing angles when all three sides of a triangle are known. And when the largest angle is found first, the remaining angles are guaranteed to be acute. Keep those ideas in mind as you head into the rest of your practice for this lesson. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time.